Visitors to the Singapore Zoo may have noticed an overhead bridge being built along Mandai Lake Road, but the Mandai Wildlife Bridge is not for use by humans. Officially unveiled today and set to open in December, it is meant for animals to cross safely, the latest in a slew of measures to reduce roadkill. Several rare animals, including a critically endangered pangolin and a leopard cat, have been reportedly killed by vehicles in the area ever since work for a nature precinct of 5 wildlife parks started early last year. Trees and shrubs will be planted on the bridge so it will resemble a multi-layered forest habitat. To discuss more about this, we have environment correspondent Audrey Tan. Hey Audrey.
Hi Dylan.
Welcome back. Now it's good to see that the Mandai Bridge is up and running, but it hasn't been all that smooth sailing, right?
Yeah, so this project itself has come under a lot of fire from the nature group since it was first mooted, I think, around 2014. But what has really riled the nature community up was that since work started in 2017 for 2 new wildlife parks to join the zoo, Night Safari and River Safari, there have been a number of native animals that have ended up as roadkill on Mandai Lake Road. Right. So Mandai Lake Road is the road that people would have to drive through in order to reach the zoo at the end. So the Mandai Lake Road actually separates, it sits right next to the Central Catchment Nature Reserve. So the land on which the 2 new parks will be built, it is state land, so it's not really protected land, but you have forests that have regenerated over time. So animals, they don't really respect all these boundaries. They have come and gone for quite a long time. So when work started in 2017, some of the animals have actually been found as roadkill on Mandai Lake Road. Includes critically endangered animals, including a leopard cat and a Sunda pangolin. And so it's not been that smooth sailing since the precinct was first mentioned by a few years ago. So since then, the developer Mandai Park Holdings have undertaken a slew of measures to try to reduce these incidents, and the Wildlife Bridge is the latest one that was unveiled to the media today. Other than that, on Mandai Lake Road, people can also see rope ladders which will help arboreal or tree-dwelling species cross from trees on one side to trees to the other. And there are also underground culverts that pangolins can go through, and we hope that with all these measures in place, it would reduce the incidence of roadkill.
Now Audrey, you had an inside tour of the facility earlier today, and since it's restricted access, of course, to the public, you could tell us a bit more about what's in the facility. Okay,
so it's essentially, right now it looks like a park connector, but when the trees are fully mature and they grow up, it would actually resemble like a forest landscape. So the reason why the trees and the shrubs that are being planted will aim to create like a multi-layer landscape, because when you talk about a healthy forest, you don't just have the tall trees, you have the underbrush like the shrubs and the smaller trees, and each layer will cater to a different kind of animal, whether it's a ground-dwelling animal like a pangolin, or for colugos, they are tree-dwelling species that they glide from tree to tree. So it is essential that there are so many layers on the Wildlife Bridge as well, and that is what we saw today. Saplings are being planted. So the developers say that it may take maybe 5 to 10 years before the vegetation fully matures, because the trees need time to grow. But when it is fully up, and by the time the 2 new parks are open, I think we can expect to see that it will resemble something like the forest in the Central Catchment Nature Reserve. Similar to like what we see on the BKE Ecolink now.
The bridge. Well, thanks Audrey for sharing with us more about the new Wildlife Bridge. We certainly hope that it helps the animals and helps us to reduce the roadkill, because it's really very sad to see all the animals being hit by cars. Now, those were the top stories of the day. For more news and videos, do head on down to our website at straitstimes.com. And once again, I'm Dylan, and thanks for watching The Big Story, and we will see you tomorrow.